Deutschlandlauf 2026 und der Mercedes-Benz-Lauf 2026. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 und los!
Here we go on a beautiful warm summer morning. This is kind of a funny start because we go through a main road which was blocked for the regular traffic. A lot of cars have been waiting for all runners to run by. It was blocked like already 10 minutes before or something, and they probably had to wait another 10 minutes or so. Anyway, nice wide open road. This is a mixed start, so we have 10-kilometer runners and 5-kilometer runners. Going into this race, I didn't have a really good plan on what time I wanted to run. The week before I had a very disappointing result. There I planned to run 36 minutes for a 10k on a very flat road. And this is 1 week later, and this race is not flat at all. I think it has over 130 meters of elevation gain with two nasty hills where you have briefly like a 10% incline. So I was sure I cannot run 36 minutes under any conditions in this race. And since the week before the result was disappointing to me, I knew I'm not as fit as I wish to be, and maybe I am far from it. So I just rolled with how I felt, which meant at least in the first 2 minutes it's 3:30 pace, or even faster than a 36-minute result. But this will change soon, as the hillier part will start in a few meters. This part goes through the old town of Sindelfingen. There you have a lot of restaurants. Unfortunately, you cannot just drop out and sit down and eat because it was early in the morning and everything was closed at that point. Now we are approaching the finish area. At the red gate you will now see this is the finish, and just before that there is the turning point for 10k. So you have this small start, and then around here there's the turning point for the 10k for the second round. 5k runners only run the loop once, and the 10k runners run the loop twice. Also here you have an incline of 4%. It might not look that steep on video, but that's already the first hits you have to take. And to add to that, you will have a few cobblestone sections like this one, and then will be another one soon, which at least I personally don't like that much, but I've also run on worse cobblestones. The guys around me are currently looking for a teammate, so the 5k race has also a team result, and there the last one will determine the result of the team, as far as I remember at least. and therefore they try to run all together if possible. Now we have a larger section, probably around 1 kilometer, of not really gravel but also not concrete roads, where sometimes the grip of the shoes is not the best. But still I can keep a pretty good pace, around 3:35 at the moment, and the field starts to stretch. Upcoming there's a guy who has to tie his shoes again, and he was cursing a lot, but you couldn't hear it. It was a 5K runner, so he will lose a lot of time and positions, I think. At this point I was still struggling to find the right tactic for the day, and there were no real groups, so I tried to form a group, more or less. I tried to hang on the guys or catch the guys in front of me. But it looks like everyone tries to catch the one in front of them as well, so we're still trying to find some place where we belong. The dog is not liking the event somehow, but at least he left me. Maybe it's the green shirt. Anyway, there's a nice beer garden coming up, and unfortunately the pace is around 4 minutes already, which is kind of surprising to me. Also there's only a slight incline. I don't know, maybe the GPS is off. No idea. I was hoping to be faster at this point. But maybe it was good that I was running based on how I feel, not based on pace. Because if I would have run based on pace, I maybe have overpaced and had the same drama I had the week before with a stitch. I was also not too concerned about the pace at this point, because I know the hill that is coming up, and I know the hill will take something out of me. At least for the hill I had a clear tactic in mind, which was to check my watch on what my running power is on a flat and keep the same running power on the hill. The running power is measured with a foot pod from the company Stride, which is fairly accurate and help for such kind of things. It can really help with pacing well. So here we are at the beginning of the hill, and I also added another tactic to it. It was like not overtake this guy in front of me, just to prevent overpacing. However, there's another player coming up soon. There I checked my running power on the watch several times. Now we are at an incline of 8%. Everyone is fighting hard.
Bergläufer.
And then there's this guy. He's totally destroying us up this hill. I'm not sure if the winner of the race went up this hill as fast as this guy. Now we are entering the biggest outdoor swimming pool in this area. So the surface on which to run will vary a lot around this outdoor swimming pool. There you have a small patch of sand coming up, and you have cobblestone, you have concrete, you have a bit of grassland, a bit of everything. The race took place just before the outdoor swimming pool season starts here, so it was still mainly closed and just opened up for this race. We are catching some 5K runners just before the water station. I didn't take a water because I am really bad at grabbing cups. Now we are leaving the outdoor swimming pool and heading towards a huge downhill. So it's basically the same sort of incline or decline as we just hit on the uphill, but now on downhill. So the pace will pick up pretty fast, while the GPS pace is not. I'm pretty sure this is already 320 or faster. And now it reports 310. Might be accurate, might also be already slowing down because this is fairly flat for a few seconds and then there comes another big downhill. And with the downhill section I caught up with my uphill friend and might already have dropped him. I don't know because I didn't look back, but I think I couldn't hear him. Up ahead you will see the rest of the field, which is approaching the uphill section, which is quite a huge crowd. But I have to turn left now and go back through the park towards the finish line. This section is pretty uneven and I will stumble and almost fall in the second round. Here I was lucky to notice this guy in the yellow vest. This is a photographer which took a nice picture of me. He did a very good job, I must say. On the picture you also see that I'm currently running alone and the guy which destroyed me up the hill is also not at least directly behind me anymore. And now comes up a long stretch where I'm running alone, more or less. Coming is the cheerleading squad of VfL Sindelfingen, and you briefly saw the first few guys. This is the fourth place guy. Now I'm heading downwards towards the finish line, but I have to take a turn. The red vest is currently placed in 5th position, but I think he will lose a position until the finish. Now we have the crowd of the finish area. And right before the red gate we turn. there is another water station where I tried to catch a cup 2 times and failed both times. And then decided I will not try to get a cup in this race. And back into the cheering squad. Towards the finish is a fairly strong downhill of, I don't know, around 5%, and after the turning point you have to run it back up again and will slow down significantly, as I do right now. And then there comes our cobblestone area again. And the same way it happened last year, someone caught up to me after the 10% incline hill, and we go into the water station, and I'm kind of surprised that he takes a cup and drops behind again.
Oh, fuck.
There was the uneven spot I mentioned before. Also the guy that dropped behind at the water station is right at my shoulder. You can't see him at the moment. But he will later outkick me. I also found out that he ran a marathon a week or a few weeks before. So he shouldn't be in his best shape, so he's clearly the better runner of us. Also, you see a lot of traffic now. These are all the 5K runners and 10K runners at the end of the field. So there he was again previously, but I don't think I will take the front again. Also for me it looks like I'm having a hard time looking down and keeping my head still. So it doesn't look like I can go any faster. So here begins the finish stretch, more or less, with the cobblestone area and a lot of traffic where it's really hard to pass the people. Also, the guy that just dropped me is just a few steps ahead of me, but I can't remember that I saw him. I thought he already lost me.
Und da hinten kommt unser Rennteam. Sarah Niele, Dr. Friedrich Gutmar, Markus Lehmann, auf geht's. Hier laufen die Nummer 1, 2026.
So that was the 10-kilometer race. A decent result, I would say, but you know, you always wish for a better result. And also there was a lot of traffic, which you really couldn't see that good because I was unable to keep my head still. But there was a lot of traffic and even a guy in a wheelchair, and I was like, I hope I don't crash into the wheelchair guy. That would be the absolutely worst case finish possible. With that, I wish you a very nice day.